country for today. Okay, over quickly as my computer needs to restart now. And I need to save the scripts and all. So yeah. Now we're on the South Asian country, kind of like more South Asian countries and Indian subcontinent. Yeah. Yeah, and today, this one, South Asian country today is Pakistan. Yeah. And here we go, as the region of Pakistan was once the cradle, one of the cradles of civilization, as sort. A Stone Age hunter-gatherers lived on the Persahar Plateau in the Soan Valley in the northern Punjab for around 300,000 years ago or more. And excavations from the Balochistan Plateau have more advanced culture, which flourished from around 4000 to 2000 BC. And at Kotdiji in the Khyber district in the early Bronze Age, culture developed. Like she didn't already know to go there. And the early Bronze Age culture developed in the period, and this early civilization reached its peak in the of which Harappa was most notable, and these societies had mastered town planning and pictographic writing. And in the 327 BC, a notable man known as Alexander the Great invaded with his Macedonian army into Mauryans from India or northern Punjab area, to be replaced by Bactrian Greeks from Afghanistan and Central Asian tribes. Different religions prevailed in turn, like Buddhism under the Mauryans, Hinduism, and with the Arab conquest. In the 8th century, Islam was introduced as two main principalities emerged under the Arab rule of that of Al-Manshura and that of Multan. I'm gonna open the window quickly, okay?
You alright, Amber?
Yeah, I'm good. Now Wasp is gone. Two main principalities emerged under Arab rule, that of Al-Masura and that of the Multan. And the Ghaznavid sultans gained ascendancy in Punjab in the 11th century, as the subsequent ascendancy, I swear I'm dehydrated as my head is just going woo, as the subsequent ascendancy of the Mughals, who originated from Central Asia, lasted from 1536 to 1707, and their rule lingered nominally until 1857, and they established a sophisticated imperial administration and left a rich legacy of forts and walled cities, gardens and gateways and mosques and tombs. And in the early 17th century, European traders arrived on the subcontinent through the East India Company, as the British became the dominant force in the area, and the unsuccessful uprising against Britain of 1857, the British took direct control. A slowly national Muslim identity emerged, championed by Sir Syed Ahmed Khan from 1817 to 1889, and the All India Muslim League was founded in 1907. As the subcontinent moved towards independence, it became clear that Hindu and Muslim interests could not be reconciled, as the campaign to establish an independent Muslim state came to prominence in the 1920s and 30s, and was led by philosopher and poet Muhammad Iqbal and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Sorry for Blash Days, maybe love those figures. Likely love those figures. As Pakistan was created as an Islamic state, out of the partition of the UK's Indian Empire. At the end, on the independence of August 1947, it was originally considered of two parts: West Pakistan, now Pakistan, and East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, that were separated by 1.6 kilometers of India. As the partition was followed by a war with India over Kashmir and a mass migration of Muslims, Hindus and Sikhs to settle within the new borders, and an upheaval which led to violence, financial loss and death on a large scale. And with the arrival of Indian Muslims and the departures of Pakistan's Hindus and Sikhs, Pakistan became an enormous entirely Muslim society. As Jinnah, who honoured as a Quaid-e-Azam, or great leader, died a year later in 48. In 1956, Pakistan became a feudal republic and has been under military rule for long periods, and its first Prime Minister, Ali Khan, was assassinated in 1951, and in 1958 martial law was declared and political parties were abolished as General later Field Marshal Ali Khan became president in 1960 and allowed for a form of guided basic democracy. However, the failure to win the 1965 war against India and the accusations of nepotism and corruption undermined his position. On the east, the Al-Mai League of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman voiced the grievances over Bengali population as Ayub Khan resigned in 1969. The power was taken over by General Yahya Khan, who in December 1970 held the first national elections in independent Pakistan, as Mujib and Awami League won an election victorious majority in Pakistan's general election on a platform demanding greater autonomy for East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. At the same time, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, Pakistan People's Party, or PPP, gained a majority in the West. Despite Mujib's victory, he was prevented by the Pakistan authorities from becoming Prime Minister. The combined state and Awami League then issued their own plans for a new constitution for an independent state in East, and as a result of military intervention that ensued, civil war broke out in the eastern region in 1971, and the Indian Army intervened in support of the Bengalis. As Pakistan forces withdrew and Bangladesh became an independent state. In 1972, Pakistan withdrew from the Commonwealth but rejoined in 1989, and under a new constitution which was introduced in 1973, Bhutto became Prime Minister, and he undertook agrarian reforms and the nationalisation of large sections of the industry and the financial sector. In July 1977, the army under General Zia-ul Haq intervened in urban unrest, and Zia declared martial law and arrested Bhutto, who was convicted, and after a controversial trial of conspiring to murder a political opponent despite international appeals, he was hanged in April of 1979. As Zia promised elections within 90 days, but he ruled without them until his death. As he assumed the presidency and embarked on a program of Islamization as martial law, and the ban of political parties were lifted in 1985 as Bhutto's daughter Benazir returned from exile as leader of PPP, and Zia died in a plane crash in August 1988. As the elections in November 1988 brought the PPP into power in a coalition with the Mahajir Qawami movement MQM. However, in October 1989 the MQM left the coalition, and in August 1990 Bhutto was dismissed by the President Ghulam Ishaq Khan and charged with corruption, and the National Assembly was dissolved and a caretaker leader installed until Islami Jamhuri Ittihad, led by Nazwa Sharif, won a decisive victory in October 1990. Sharif pursued economic reforms and privatisation and instituted Sharia Islamic law until 1993. Sharif pursued economic reforms and until when President and Prime Minister resigned under pressure from the military, making way for fresh elections, which brought Benazir Bhutto back to power by a small majority. And in November 1996, President Sardar Farooq Khan Laghari, promoted by the army, high command and opposition leaders, used the 8th Amendment in the Constitution and dissolved the National Assembly, bringing down the Bhutto government, alleging corruption and financial incompetence and human rights violations, and new elections were held in February 1997 as the Pakistan Muslim League, Nawaz, previously the main component of the Islami Jamhuri Ittihad, won 134 seats in the National Assembly, and Sharif became Prime Minister as Bhutto's Pakistan's People Army retained only 18 seats. And in April 1997, Sharif was able to gain PPP's support to achieve 2/3 majority necessary to repeal the 8th Amendment, ending the President's ability to dissolve the National Assembly. And he also took over from the President the power to appoint a Supreme Court judge and military chiefs of staff. In October 1999, Sharif ordered the dismissal of the Army Chief and Staff General Pervez Musharraf and refused permission to land the commercial aircraft in which he was returning to Karachi from an official visit to Sri Lanka, as the army countermanded the Prime Minister's order and immediately seized power, dismissing the government and arresting Sharif, as Musharraf justified his actions as necessary to restore both the economy and deteriorating political situation pending on the restoration of democracy. The Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group, CMAG, suspended Pakistan from the councils of the Commonwealth. As the dispute with India over Kashmir escalated sharply in 1999, where militants with Pakistani military support crossed the line of control at Kargil and engaged in major battles with the Indians forces, and more than 1,000 people were killed in the fighting. And in July 1999, Pakistan finally agreed to withdraw from Indian-controlled territory, but the state of tension, which had been heightened by the nuclear testing of 1998, as India had detonated 5 nuclear devices on the 11th and 13th of May 1998 in Pakistan, and Pakistan responded with 6 on the 28th and 30th of May, and the tensions persisted. And at the invitation of Indian Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 2001, President General Pervez Musharraf attended a summit in India, focusing on the disputes over Kashmir, although there was no substantive outcome in the face-to-face meeting between leaders of the first face-to-face meeting between leaders of the two countries since 1999 was characterised by new interest on both sides in seeking a resolution for a long-standing problem, but by May 2002, India had mobilised a vast army along the line of control of the two countries were again at the brink of a war. But the tensions had considerably eased in October 2002, where India reduced its number of troops along the line of control as diplomatic relations were restored in August of 2003, and a ceasefire along the line of control was agreed and took effect on the 26th of November 2003. As a peace talks between India and Pakistan began in 2004, and marking a historic advance in the relation between the two countries, as talks led to restoration of the communication links and range of confidence-building measures, including coordinated relief efforts in the aftermath of October 2005. As constitutionally, the Prime Minister serves as the chief advisor to the President of Pakistan on critical matters and plays an influential role in appointments in each branch of the military leadership, as well as ensuring control of military force through Chairman Joint Chiefs. The power of the Prime Minister has significantly grown with a delicate system of a check and balance by each branch, and the position was absent during the years of 1960 to 73 and then again in 1977 to 85 due to imposed martial law. And in each of the periods, the military junta led by the President had overthrown had the powers of the Prime Minister, and the incumbent and current holder of the position is Imran Khan, as you probably know from news videos, elected in this capacity after nationwide general elections held in August 2018. And yeah. Moving on to language and all that, I feel I'll just say that there are over 300 dialects and languages spoken in the country, so and each is distinctly different from the other. Some of the common languages are like Urdu, which is the national language of Pakistan, which is like a mixture of Persian, Arabic and various local languages. And it's similar to Hindi, but it's written in Arabic script. Then there's also English, which is also an official language. Then there's Punjabi, which is spoken in the province of Punjab. There's Sindhi, spoken in the province of Sindh. There's Pashto, which is spoken in the Northwest Frontier Province, NWFP. And then there's Balochi, spoken in the province of Balochistan. And yeah. Moving on to legends, there's got like 7 of them, and they are kind of short. And yeah, the first of the legends is, as I kind of went to urban legends, as the first is the Hatora group, as back in the late 80s, a gang of serial killers called the Hatora group would target the houses standing near the railway lines in Karachi. It was rumoured that they were a satanic cult who would smash the skulls of their victims with hammers, and others have said that they were Russian spies. And beside the houses they would strike anyone asleep on the footpaths, and it was a scary time for beggars, drug addicts and runaways. According to one report, there were 4 men dressed in white clothes and wore black masks, and nobody saw the hammer. And the group eventually disappeared, but the mystery remains unsolved. Then the second is the Kadar group, aka the Shalawar group. And the Kadar group was the talk of a town in the 90s, as a group consists of graceful, light-footed young men who would prefer to wear boxers and pants. They slather their bodies with oil so nobody would be able to catch them if they were trying to make a run for it, and it worked because they weren't really caught. And the men of the Kadar group weren't really violent, as they just simply entered houses, stole valuable things, and rarely ever assaulted anyone. As yeah, that's one way to go robbing people. The third is Pichard Peri, who was an ugly witch with a cursed name. As according to like those in Pakistan and all that, witch's name out loud will make her come to you. Hasn't come yet. and the witch was rumoured to have a long face, dirty fingers, a hunchback body drags for clothes, large circular eyes and unkempt hair, which she's never used shampooed and all, like clean and all that, and a dreadful night she spent in anguish. Luckily Pishra Perry never bothered to show up in her name and say her name, and he might give it a shot, and I haven't quite seen it just yet. Then there's the evil at Devil's Point. If anything's called Devil, it's not likely to be good. As Devil Point points in Karachi, apparently there used to be an unknown evil looking entity sitting on the chair in the sea, and chanting the words of horror and doing black magic. Now, who knows what it was actually doing, but it did scare people off. Then there's also a headless man in Karachi, as people are said to have actually seen it. This Sarkata had me near the old abandoned casino in Karachi, and were even chased by it. That's one chase I never want to go near. And then sixth is Adam Kaz in Rawalpindi and Islamabad. As it happened in 2014, around 150 big men with teeth like bricks had developed a taste for human flesh in Rawalpindi and Islamabad, as they stalked the roads at night, eating anyone they came across. One was caught at the Gurrais graveyard. Some say that if these cannibals bite you, you turn to a cannibal yourself. And yeah. And then there's a seventh, as there's the virus injectors of Karachi. Once again back in Karachi. And if you don't wear like a shirt with sleeves, and it's kind of like strange. There's these guys with injections will take care of you. As a few years ago, the Sadar area, a group of men would inject viruses into the arm of anyone wearing short sleeves, and apparently the virus was HIV. So yeah, I wouldn't go around completely believing everything here, but be careful, especially around Karachi, as it all goes on around Karachi. So yeah, bye for now.